Today marks the day I have 1 month left to renew my ASME 6010 Medical Gas Systems Installer license. This process also renews my ASME Section 9 brazer certification under boiler and pressure vessel code. 5 months ago, I passed the medgas written exam and the brazing qualification. This process here is identical to what the brazing test looks like. I am making this video because when I was first enrolling in the medgas schooling, I looked on the internet for any videos or information about the test itself. Turns out there's not that much, besides a couple videos from the NITC, and then there's an actual helpful video, but it was filmed in the 80s. I'm hoping this video can be found by someone who was like me, getting ready to take the brazing exam but had no idea what to expect. The first step of your brazing exam is to make your coupons. A coupon is 2 pieces of 1.5 inch copper pipe, at least 6 inches long each. They are joined together with an 1.5 inch copper coupling. It's important that even if you don't cut your pipe with a bandsaw, that you use some sort of deburring tool. A deburring tool is actually different than a reamer. The most common reamers, like the rigid cone one, you're not actually allowed to use that on a medgas test. They'll fail it on the braze portion because they argue that they hold oil. And medgas is all about being as clean as possible to avoid any kind of contamination. After you deburr the pipe, you gotta clean the outside as good as you can. Any kind of sweat or oil of any kind that's on the pipe will affect your braze. These Scotch-Brite pads I'm using here are just about the best way to clean it. You're not really allowed to use like emery cloth or anything like that that has material that sheds off of it. And that's just a normal wire brush to clean a coupling. Sometimes they can be finicky, but your pipe should slide right into the coupling. If you're having to beat the pipe into the coupling, you might as well not even braze it, because your braze will not be able to get past it if the coupling is biting down on the pipe. This is my testing rig that I made up. It's just a 90 pipe and a cap that I drilled a hole through to fit this 1/4 inch fitting for my nitrogen purge. Your nitrogen purge is important because it purges the oxygen out from the inside of your braze. Whenever you see a brazed piece of pipe, it's always black and charred on the outside. That is called copper oxidization, and that happens whenever oxygen and copper are burning together at high temperatures. We don't really care if that happens on the outside of the pipe, but you don't want it on the inside. In most cases, these pipes that you're brazing in medgas will be holding oxygen or other gases that need to stay as clean as possible. That is why we have nitrogen purging the oxygen out of the inside of the pipe, so that once this braze is over, you will see that the inside of the pipe stays perfect. The reason I have my purge set up with this 90 on this chain vise is so that I can turn it. This is really your best bet, because on the test you're going to need to do a horizontal and a vertical coupon. I'm using 15% silver braze rods. Here's my nitrogen purge setup. This is just a flow regulator with a flow meter that I found on Amazon. When you get your parts list for the medgas class, you'll see a lot of stuff on there that you've never seen before. This thing on the left, this flow meter, is really hard to find, and they're very expensive. I found this one on Amazon for like $40, I think. If you try to go the cheap way without using a flow meter and just a flow regulator with a hose, you'll blow through a whole bottle of nitrogen. Right when I was ready to braze, somebody else got back to the shop and I was right in the way, so I had to move. Here's a closer look at my flow regulator and flow meter. The flow meter gives you a lot smaller of a flow so that you can preserve your nitrogen. You're told to set your flow meter to about 5 to 10 units on here. I'm not sure what these measurements are, but I know that it should be 5 to 10. You should be able to just barely feel it coming out of the top of your purge. So my purge has probably been going for about 5 minutes now. So I went and grabbed my earplugs because these A32 torch tips are pretty loud.
Huh? Why don't you call Dad so he can videotape for you?
That's Chuck. So whenever you're actually going to start brazing your coupon, you want to start with obviously your upfeed. You start from the bottom. You're just going to ignore the top. How I was instructed to do my braze was you really want to heat it all the way up. Your coupon, you want to heat it to about orange yellowish. You'll hear people say a lot to go to cherry red, but what I've found and what I was actually told by my instructor is you should go one step above. Above cherry red, even hotter, is orange yellowish, and orange yellowish is so hot that it makes a weird effect where as you're heating your coupon so hot that when you put your braze rod into the bottom of the coupon, it will actually cool the inside of the coupon, creating like a translucent effect, allowing you to see where your braze is. You want to keep your heat moving evenly, and it's important that your pipe is hot enough that your braze rod is melting from the heat of the pipe, not the heat of your torch. Your vertical coupon is a little trickier than the horizontal. Because of gravity, your joint needs to be hot enough that through capillary action, the heat of your torch draws your molten filler rod. So now I have loosened the chain vise just enough so that I can turn my vertical upside down. This way I can do another vertical braze without having to touch the pipe that is still very hot. It's all the same principles, just heat your coupon evenly. Now that you are done brazing, you still cannot turn your nitrogen purge off. It is recommended to leave your nitrogen purge on until your braze coupon is cool to the touch. I actually turn my nitrogen purge up just a little bit so that it can cool down just a little bit faster. Here is what a finished coupon looks like. As you can see, the outside is completely charred and oxidized, while the inside remains perfectly clean. This is what a successful nitrogen purge looks like. Thanks for watching. I hope this video helped you in some way. Good luck to anyone preparing for the medgas exam.
Nick, we need to mention I have J hooks too. I don't know why you ain't answering damn